A French oil and gas producer Total has started a project to plant 40 million trees over 10 years in the Republic of Congo as part of its plan to become carbon neutral by 2050. Fossil fuel companies are under increasing pressure from governments and shareholders to fight climate change. Speaking of which, Cape Town, South Africa, hosts Africa Energy Week from the 9th to the 12th of this month, kicking off today. Oil and gas dignitaries, including Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva, NNPC Group Managing Director Mele Kyari, Oando CEO Wale Tinubu, OPEC Secretary General Mohamed Barkindo, among others, will be in attendance, which kicks off today. Peter Esele, who's the former president of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSAN, and an oil and gas analyst, joins us now to discuss further. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for having me.
What do you make of what will be discussed, I guess, the theme at Africa Energy Week in Cape Town? Will climate change be the overarching?
I think that would be it, because you know that we just finished COP26. So that just what has happened is Africans are taking a cue from it and then wanting to talk about the energy mix and then the future of the globe and also the future of Africa. And I think that will be the bottom line of what they are going to discuss. But I just hope that Africans are also able to look out for themselves in all of this emerging talk about energy transition.
Fantastic. Speaking of climate change, I would like for you to take a listen to this. This happened about a week or two ago. A climate activist confronted Shell CEO, Mr. Van Beurden. Let's take a listen.
Lauren, your question to Ben. Yeah, so first of all, I just want to give a little bit of context. So Shell and Siccar Point Energy are trying to push a new oil field through the UK Parliament, the Campbell oil field, which is going to be off the coast of Scotland, which obviously is my home. So, Mr. Van Beurden, I just want to start by saying that you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself for the devastation that you have caused to communities all over the world. Already, you are responsible for so much death and suffering. I'm not even going to appeal to you to change, because I know that would be a wasted opportunity. What I do want to say is that every single day that you fail to stop making evil decisions is a day that the death toll of the climate crisis rises. You are one of the most responsible people for this crisis in the world, and in my view, that makes you one of the most evil people in the world. No matter what he says today, remember, Shell has spent millions covering up the warnings from climate scientists, bribing politicians and even paying soldiers to kill Nigerian activists fighting against them, all whilst rebranding to make it look as though they care and that they have the intention of changing.
Okay, so I really want to get obviously you're an oil and gas man, so I don't know what your reaction is, but I do want to throw this in. She was given a seat at the table. This wasn't a case of her bomb rushing the stage and what usually happens when they bring a banner and then security carries them out. So your reaction, and I guess, how do you see this whole climate debate to where activists are now giving a platform to confront oil and gas executives on what's going on?
I think it's progress. It's progress. It's left for activists to take advantage of it, maximize the opportunity, and also engage the oil and gas companies. So once you have this opportunity, you are engaging them, putting their feet to fire, as we will say. But the most important part is don't lose. She was being emotional, which of course is normal, but don't lose the focus. The focus is that you have to bring as much points to the table and then see what they are trying to do. Because one thing is very clear. For Shell to do what they want to do in Scotland, you must have political buy-in. Because politicians and economists must also look at the trend and say, okay, fine, the number of jobs that you create and what did we do to the economy. So in all of this energy mix that we're talking about, but I would advise that we set a timeline, goals. You are not expecting Shell to all of a sudden to close down all its oil fields,
right, because
they want to, because of global warming. No. So we must see how we can ensure that they transit, and then we start having clean energy. That's my take in all of this. But it's also very important that activists take advantage of this, and the pressures over the years are beginning to pay dividend. That is why you are having a seat at the table.
And Barack Obama he spoke at COP26. We took his speech live. Part of it, I was on air when this happened here. He talk to youth, particularly like that young lady, saying that they should protest, they should do campaigns online, they have a right to be angry. Is he adding fuel to the fire, or is this that they have an ally in the United States that is on their side? And how do you interpret that?
I think basically he's a politician. Politicians thrive on division. You know, because it's one thing for Barack Obama to talk about, oh, the youth should be angry, but you look at Barack Obama's 8 years as president of the United States, that was when America actually had energy self-sufficiency, whereby you have drill.
Right.
And then it now came up to that they don't even have to buy crude from Nigeria. They were okay. And they also started importing. So if you are going to put that together, you find out that he's talking as a politician. Yeah, the youths can be angry, the youths can be upset, but not angry in the terms that you do anything that I consider to be unlawful. Because if you are encouraging them, the way he went about it, I listened to his speech too, and he was so upset. But I had to look at, it's not just talk the talk. It's let's also see what Barack did when he was president in the United States of America. Saying that America is an ally, I will never say America will be an ally for all of this. It's easier now for us to be talking about climate change because you have a Democrat in the White House. If you had a Republican in the White House,
Trump.
Trump doesn't give a damn about when you talk about
pulled out of the climate.
Pulled out of it, and he's talking about drill.
Right.
So when you're talking about having an alliance, Americans right now are not the type that you say you are building an alliance with. They can agree with you today. In 4 years, if a Republican comes out, boom,
it's all gone.
So if we know that this is what we want, we have to look at things from our strategic national interest. America always do that. So Nigerians, Africans must look at things from their strategic national interest.
All right. I want to get your thoughts on what Total is doing. Total Energy is this plan to plant 40 million trees in the Republic of Congo. Is this, some are saying these are just PR, campaigns. I know they changed their name to Total Energies, for example. What do you make of these moves like this?
Yeah, first of all, I'm also aware why Total had to change their names, because Total itself is investing heavily in renewable energies. So they are looking at other aspects of it. But what we need to look at is, companies can come up and say they want to plant 100 million trees. But what we need to do is follow through. Who is their partner? Is Total going to do it themselves? No. Total already had a game reserve institute that will be responsible for that. So what Total want to do is to fund it, and he said over a 30-year period. It's not something that is going to happen overnight. So what we need to do, in Congo now, you already have 1 million seedlings. 1 million seedlings of trees, which of course they are going to go ahead and plant. So we should also encourage that. But while encouraging it, we should also make sure that they walk the talk and not just PR stunt. Because we even have I Love Soccer, and you have UEFA telling us a couple of years ago that we're going to plant 5 million trees in EU countries.
Right.
And as at last week, they've not planted a single tree. And then people are accusing UEFA of also playing PR stunt. But UEFA is now saying, oh, please, because of the COVID-19. So what we need to do is that we follow through. That, okay, this is what Total says they're going to do, and we hold them accountable.
Do you think that Africa, as Energy Week kicks off in Cape Town now, with all the dignitaries that are going there, do you think that Africa could have been further ahead in renewable energy at this point? How would you characterize the pace at which we've moved as a continent, if you want to use Nigeria or other examples?
I think we should have been ahead. But where we are right now, and again, you don't have money. So Africa is broke. So,
right.
So when you talk in terms of investment in Africa, it's going to come from outside. So now we had coal all these years, dirty energy, as they will call it. Now, we didn't invest in coal. We have more sunlight. We didn't invest in that in terms of looking at generating power from the sun. We didn't do any of that. Now, the world is coming, telling Africans that, okay, you have to have you have to transit. So that's why I keep emphasizing that Africans cannot do the transition the way Europe or America are talking about. We don't have the money.
Right.
So take away oil and gas out of Nigeria. What is left of Nigeria? What is left of Congo? What is left of Angola? So if we are talking about energy mix, is for the world. That's the Americans and the Europeans to say, okay, we are bringing $50 billion. This is what we are investing, and so that it make it easier for Africa to transit. And now what has Africa also done is that we have to look at our universities. What are they doing? What are the research? What are our investment? Because if you look at budgeting in this part of the world, even in Africa, you find out that our budget is to spend. Our budget is not to create wealth. But if you look at budgeting in Europe or America, it is to create wealth. They look at an area, okay, we need to spend X amount of money to create this volume of jobs, collect X tax. So those are what drives their budget. Now, if you look at the budget of Nigeria in the last 10 years, let's even since the advent of civilian administration, there's no money for renewable energy. There's no money for research. There's no money for investment in that sector. Right. So why will Africa not be backward? And Africa is going to be the whipping boy as usual, because the Western world will breathe down the neck of Africa and say, this is where we are going to go. If you want to even invest in oil and gas, who else if not Shell, ExxonMobil, and others? So local companies don't even have the money to do really serious drilling. No, they don't. Even our Nigerian banks, they can't fund, Nigerian banks can't fund five drilling projects going on simultaneously. They can't.
Well said. Peter Esele, former PENGASSAN president, also oil and gas analyst. Thank you so much for joining us.